Hey there everyone, my name is Freddie Hernandez. You might know me as Tavarish, and these are my car projects. So welcome to my garage. Don't worry about the amount of dust that's on here. I swear that these cars get worked on every once in a while. So this is my 2001 Porsche 911 Turbo. It has a 4.2 liter stroker engine, has bigger turbos, and it has a lot of modifications. And I am frankly scared to turn it on. I actually got this at a storage locker. I traded this for a Bentley Continental GT and it was non-running. It still is non-running, but now it's put together a little bit better. Now underneath there is one of my prides and joys. This is a car I really like. This is my 1999 Mitsubishi 3000 GT VR4. This was the nicest thing I'd ever owned, and I ended up selling this thing so I can move down here to Florida initially to just pay for the down payment on my house. But then I realized I really missed this car. So 5 years later, I actually found this exact car, and this is honestly one of my favorite cars ever. It's all-wheel drive, all-wheel steering, twin turbo, 6-speed, and it drives really nicely. Now, speaking of driving really nicely, that doesn't drive at all. That is a 1990 Lotus Turbo Esprit SE, and I got it from a guy who wanted to modify it and fix it, and he didn't really know how, because this is, it looks like paper mache. I got a new cylinder head for it. I'm gonna do a standalone on it. It's just gonna be a really good running car. Underneath it is an actual good running car. It's a 1995 Toyota Supra SE. Now it started life as a non-turbo 5-speed, and now it is a turbo 6-speed with a standalone, and everything that you could do to a Supra, I did to a Supra. It has, 200,000 miles. I ended up doing everything to it as far as restoration. I got a new paint job. I got some Konig wheels, some really nice Konig wheels. See, they actually don't advertise the B fitment as fitting for the fronts, but we made them fit. I think it makes the car. I love the white on black sort of Stormtrooper look. I really love this car. It's one of my favorite cars in here. I say that for almost every car, but I really do mean it for this. Now, over here are my Aston Martins. That is a 2003 Aston Martin V12 Vanquish. This is a car from the movie Die Another Day. It's not the actual movie car, but it's one like they had in the movie. This was purchased from Ed Bolian from Car Trek Series 2. And underneath it is my money no object dream car. I promised myself that I would get one of these when I ever got enough money to do so. And thankfully last year I did. So this is my 2009 Aston Martin DBS, and this is a 6-speed manual. It's super rare and it's super fun to drive. This has Casino Royale paint job. On the inside, it's black on white leather, something like that, but it's basically the James Bond car. I am not a big James Bond fan. I'm actually not a James Bond fan at all, but it turns out I really like his cars. Now coming over here, we have a 2003 Mercedes-Benz SL55 AMG. Now, this was the cheapest one in the country. I bought that many years ago for about $8,900. It used to be black, and then I painted it red, actually hyacinth red metallic. This also has a coilover suspension, so I took out that ABC hydro pneumatic suspension. It's hard to find parts for it, and it's also very expensive, and it's not very reliable. So that has a BC Racing coilover setup. It handles really well, and that is actually going to be the first car with a manual conversion. Now, I have been saying that for the last 4 years, but I think I've finally kind of figured out all the kinks. Underneath that is something I haven't really talked about on my channel, but it's my 2006 Chevy Corvette Z06. I'm not a Corvette guy. I'm not a muscle car guy, but I love the Z06. I love the C6 Z06, and I think it's one of the best looking cars they've ever made. It's also a 500 horsepower naturally aspirated 7-liter. It revs to 7 grand. It makes a lot of torque. And with a little bit of modification, this is gonna make a lot of power. I mean, I don't need like 900 horsepower, but a little bit more than stock can't hurt. Up there is a Lexus that was enjoyed quite well because it has more than 1 million miles on it. This is previously Matt Farah's 1 million mile Lexus, and he gave it to me for $1. And I told him that I would put a turbo on it, and I told him that I was gonna put on a dyno and see if it blew up. And a lot of people didn't like that idea. So they thought that this car had a lot of provenance, had a lot of history, and honestly, I sort of agree with them. So this car is gonna live on and have many more miles. I haven't really shown anybody this, so don't tell anybody, okay? but this is my 2009 Ferrari 430 Scuderia. That car is my ultimate Ferrari. I love the 430 Scuderia. I love the way it sounds. I love the way it shifts. I love the way it looks. And the fact that I got one in really, really bad shape just makes me like kind of warm and fuzzy inside, because that means I get to work on it. Now, all this stuff, this stuff right here is the parts for the Ferrari. So you can see how badly it's damaged. It needs like a whole front end. It needs a quarter panel. It needs some airbags. It needs a lot of stuff. But I think we can get it done in a smallish amount of time, and I say that with no hint of irony, because obviously these are all really, really big projects. If we come around here, you'll see a Lexus SC300 that sort of looks stock, but if you look underneath here, it definitely is not stock. We're taking everything from a Lexus SC300 and implanting everything from Lexus ISF, from the wiring harnesses to the keyless go to all that stuff. And this should be a really good sort of canyon carver, really good cruiser. This is going to be on my Wrench Everyday channel. We've been working really, really hard on it. So this is a 1991 Honda Beat, and it is a right-hand drive import. Other than like the paint job that doesn't really match, this actually has no rust. All the ones that were more expensive, they all had rust. And if you buy a car from Japan, you want to make sure it doesn't have any rust. But I love this thing. It has a 3-cylinder, 656cc engine, and the engine is in the right place because it's right here. It's in the middle, it's rear-wheel drive, it has independent throttle bodies. It really is like a little supercar. And I like driving it, other than the fact that the first time I drove it, I think the cat overheated itself and it melted the exhaust pipe. So it was like, so I haven't been able to find an exhaust. That's sort of the Achilles heel of these things. The fact that you can't buy parts for these cars anywhere, unless they're from like a Japanese distributor, and then you have to wait for shipping, and that's gonna be super expensive. So this car has just been kind of sitting here, but I like looking at it, and it's also very small, so I can park it anywhere. Over there is something that you should never ever get, and that is a car on fire. So this is my 1995 Ferrari F355. I bought it from Tyler Hoover, and Tyler didn't do the maintenance. He didn't do the recall that Ferrari told him he should do, and you should definitely do the recall, because then this happens. So we're gonna do a speedster concept. You can see we already took out the windshield, and we also have a wide body that we're putting on here. This was custom made by a company called Button Built. And this is just a super stanky wide body that we're gonna put on this Ferrari with a sequentially shifted 20B 3-rotor. It's gonna be an awesome car. Now, speaking of awesome cars, this is sort of the one that started my channel. This is a 2008 Lamborghini Gallardo, and it is a Spider and also a 6-speed manual. I got this car not knowing how it would do on YouTube, and this actually blew up my channel in a very, very big way. I learned a lot about cars. I learned a lot about Lamborghinis because I rebuilt this in my 2-car garage back at home. And this has a twin turbo system. This has a built engine. It has a lot of really high dollar parts. It has a standalone engine management system. And it's, well, it drives interestingly because nobody really makes a clutch that's like drivable in these cars with a 6-speed manual. So I had one just made, and that's gonna get put into this car. This thing should make north of 1,000 wheel horsepower very, very easily. That engine can do like 1,500, like just, it's basically standing still. So you guys probably see my Bendpak lifts, and I really love the way these things look. They make it look more like a collection and not like a hoard, which it obviously is. You know what the difference is between a hoard and a collection? It's presentation. So these are my Bendpak 4-post lifts. And over there, I have my Bendpak 2-post lift, and that's what I use for suspension, anything where the wheels have to come off the car. We do like engine swaps and all the big major repair stuff right there. But when we wanna sort of chill and calm down a little bit, we come over here. So this is my lounge area that I made because I realized that I have this shop and I have nowhere to sit down. So I made a lounge area with a TV. It's the biggest TV that I could afford on Amazon. And we have some McLaren 675 LT wheels over there because that's what they are. They're furniture. They're completely bent. I can't use them or sell them or anything. So they're just holding up my sound bar over there. But honestly, it's a really good place to just chill. We have air conditioning in the shop, and it's a nice place to be just if you want to look at cars, which is what I end up doing anyway. So thank you everyone for joining me on a tour of my shop. I love sharing these cars with you. I can't believe I do this every day, but that's gonna be it. Thank you very much. See you next time.